Yeah, I only caught the general cliff notes of this Pokemon situation. I saw this video, which I guess I'll play it to give like a summation.
Pokemon cards just happened. There have been pictures circulating around the internet of people with stacks and stacks and stacks of very rare, very holographic, very hard to get cards. Simultaneously, for the past couple of months and or years, people have been complaining about the fact that they buy thousands and thousands of packs of Pokemon cards and don't get any hits.
That's what I said back when I was still opening modern Pokemon card sets. It was shocking how often you'd open an entire booster box and get nothing of any interest. Just actual dog shit on top of dog shit. But I just always assumed that's like Pokemon pull rates. I didn't know there was any type of potential foul play.
Hits are good cards, so they don't get any nice cards, and that's
Maybe
because apparently
in the recent
people who
Steven.
work at the company that prints Pokemon cards have been taking the good cards off the line and hiding them, saving them to then sell them bulk to people, and they got caught doing it because they're morons, and they go to a fucking local game store with 70 Umbreons, and that raises some red flags.
Yeah, but they got away with it for a long time. It's not like they're that fucking stupid. Clearly, they were able to get away with it for a pretty extended period of time. This is something that has allegedly been happening for quite a while.
So it started with one picture, and now it's up to like 7 or 8 different pictures of just stacks of these holographic cards that, people have spent a lot of money trying to get. And the whole thing about them is that, like, if you want the rarest card
Mag,
in the
Pony,
set, like a
Alex, and 5 subs again,
Charizard,
Rouge.
you're going
Thank
to
you,
keep
man.
opening packs until you get a Charizard. But if every Charizard that goes across the line gets taken out, there's no Charizards to be had. And people will just keep buying packs. And that's bad. That's bad for the community. That's bad for individuals. That's really bad for the Pokemon company. That's really bad for this printing company. Y'all, I don't think anything like this has ever happened. I don't think you understand the gravity.
I would wager a guess that this has happened before. Like, statistically, it absolutely has to have happened before. Since there's workers on the lines, assuming all of this it's just a theory, but assuming all of this is accurate, I find it hard to believe that there wouldn't be some bad actors along the pipeline that just take some of the high chase cards for themselves. There has to be a way. Just skim it. But maybe now it's just getting to a point where there's so many people doing it that now it's very clearly having an effect on the overall ecosystem of the TCG.
For like years now, this must have been happening. It goes far back, from what I can tell. And this is not. This is like the craziest thing that's ever happened. It's like almost like when Logan Paul opened up that box of like first editions and it turned out to be fucking Popeye cards or something.
G.I. Joe cards.
This is kind of like that, but worse. Like, imagine if you had a child who was really into Pokemon and all they wanted to do was complete their set or play the game, just fucking get cards so that they could actually play the game. And you spend money, your hard-earned money, on these, expecting a result. And yes, you're not always going to get a card. You're not always going to get the card you want or the rarest card. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you're taking a chance.
But they don't even exist in these packs for the most part. Like, they are so so much rarer than they should be. That's fucking crazy. And, like, apparently they were all, like, cut really well, which means that they were really crisp and nice and not, like, damaged at all or whatever. So, like, the market is about to implode and everything is going to fall apart. And this is the craziest thing that's ever happened in trading cards.
So that's kind of the general overview. Leading theory is the workers are swiping the cards off the line and selling them on the open market, like at local game shops and shit. Which is, like I said, very possible and shocking that it's not more commonplace, that this would be the first time that's happened. But that's kind of the situation in a nutshell. So these pictures started circulating where these people were taking in fucking crazy amounts of these cards. Like nobody, literally nobody, is going to have pulled all of this. There's an actual 0% chance. No game shop in all of America would have been able to pull this, even if they bought like a 200K inventory from Pokemon. They wouldn't have pulled all this. So this is clearly fresh from the fucking line. And apparently there's like 7 or 8 photos just like this of people trying to offload all of these cards. They're not fakes nor confirmed real. That was the other theory, that they could have been fakes. Like a big counterfeit, like a bootlegging of the cards. So you said they're not fakes nor confirmed authentic? Why would you offload that many at once? Well, because like the guy in the video said, they're fucking stupid. Like, this literally just blew it all up for all of them. And this is, so, the value of Pokemon cards isn't, it's not, you know, schmeckles. Like, we're talking doubloons. This is a lot of money that they have directly stolen from the printing company. This would be like an actual prison sentence. This is a big crime. Like, this is a lot of money. And it's illegal. So, them having this and offloading it all at once has completely shined the spotlight on it, and will probably lead to quite a few people going to jail once there's an investigation. And it won't be like a light prison sentence. It'll probably be like, I don't, what's like a, what's the one above theft? Like a, what, there's different tiers. There's petty theft, there's theft. I don't think it's grand theft or larceny, right? No, I don't think so. Is it larceny? Maybe it is larceny. It would be a pretty decently sized sentence. Like, this wouldn't be a slap on the wrist. It's a lot of money that they're stealing from this company. And it's the Pokemon company. That is the highest grossing franchise in the entire world by a big margin. It is the biggest media empire that you have fucked with. And Nintendo is associated with them, and we know how litigious and evil they are. These people are fucked now, once this investigation goes through. Thanks to the resub God, Tree, and Skip in the Prime Wave. Why does it say allegedly, though? Well, because it hasn't been 100% confirmed beyond a shadow of a doubt. Like I said, there's still potential that they're really convincing fakes, but other than that, the only possible other means they would have had to acquire all this is straight from the company, straight from the line themselves. They'd be a worker there, or have access to it somehow. So the only saving grace for these guys is if they try and claim that they've counterfeited these, they might get off with a lighter sentence. I really don't know. But past that, they're kind of dead to rights. I'm assuming these are newer cards? Yes. And it's apparently been going on for a couple years now. Thanks, resub. Halls, Toast, and Rugged. Yep, just made something on that earlier today, Beaches. What's illegal about it? Why do I need to explain it? Brother, you can't just steal the expensive cards from your job and then sell them yourself. Well, you can't steal them to begin with. That's already a crime, stealing. But then to turn around and sell them yourself, that's another added crime on top of that. Like, you can't do that. So some of these cards here, is this the one that has the Umbreon or the Sylveon? I don't remember, but one of the cards in this set, somewhere on this side, each one of these is $151, and they were trying to offload like 70 or 80 that you would never pull through just buying boxes. You would have to spend like $1 million on boxes to get that many. The Umbreon is $500 raw. Is it 500? I thought it was 151. Oh, well, even more than I expect, even more than I thought. Thanks for resub Midnight, Worthwhile, Prosciutto, and Tier 1, Achilles. Imagine how much they've made in total. Yeah, I have no idea. It's so hard to know. Because this is just one actual smooth brain idiot that tried to offload his entire haul in one spot. But how many of them were just going to many different local game shops, selling a couple here and there over the course of these years? I really do wonder. It's gotta be a lot. It's gotta be. This had to have been done for a set called Chilling Rain because the pull rates are so notably bad it's been nicknamed Chilling Pain. Well, as the guy in the video explains here, this is something that has most likely been going on for years, which is why all the pull rates have been so bad for so long. And he's right. Like, his speculation is probably right. Even when I was still pulling modern set Pokemon cards, like, I'd get like 10, 15 booster boxes, open them on stream, and I'd get nothing. And that was what, 3 years ago? Voice crack, 3 years ago now? Just RNG. True. Yeah, just bad RNG. Thanks for resub Orc and the Prime, Chris. I bet this happens in other TCGs, it just hasn't been discovered yet. That's what I was saying. Like I imagine this has to have been going on for quite a while in other places as well. It's just Pokemon is so big now that as they get new workers on board, more of them are probably taking cards from the line, so it's much more noticeable. Wonder what kind of safety measures they have to stop this from happening. Yeah, I have no clue, really. No telling. Oh, this is where I got the 151 from. It was this article. And it was the Espeon. Very interesting, though. Very, very interesting. These are the 5 gift subs Paxel and Tier 1 Sarah. And the resub Joe, Des, Hollow, and Scout. No, like, we can watch the Oda videos in just a little bit. I was just going to watch them on my own later, but we can just catch up on the situation tonight. I am very curious about it. This is one of those rare instances where RuneScape drama leaks out into the mainstream. I've heard a lot of people talking about it. I work in a fruit processing factory and they have a shit ton of cameras. I would think that Pokemon factories would have more cameras. Well, they probably do. If I had to speculate on how they're swiping the cards, I would have to imagine that it's during the cutting process. So what happens here is there's these big sheets, kind of like this, huge sheets, and they're all like you see it here. You know what? I'll pull up exactly what I'm talking about for Yu-Gi-Oh! Starlights. They actually give these away. Okay, so here. If I had to guess, what's happening is these workers are getting here during this part of the process. The cards get put on a big sheet. These are all Starlight rares. They swipe the sheet and cut them themselves. That would be my guess on how they're doing it. Which would also explain like the incredible quantity that they have, as opposed to individually swiping each and every one after they're cut. Thanks to give sub Sleepy in the resub, Jeremy, and Greg in the Prime Zin. You might be right, Biz. And thanks to the gift sub Fatty and the bits chiseled. Out of Action? I haven't heard of that game before. How would you smuggle something that big? Oh, that I have no idea. You'd need some kind of like getaway car or something. I have no idea how you'd smuggle it. All I'm saying is this is where I think they're swiping it during this part of the process. It's the only spot that I could see them even having a chance at getting this quantity of hyper rares. Is the resub Vestal? Why not right after the cut? Because you'd have to take individual cards. You'd increase the you'd increase the time you're there taking the cards. B, you'd also make it more difficult to get a huge quantity. I feel like it'd just be harder. I could be wrong. Maybe they do wait till after they're cut. But I feel like if you take it during the sheet, you cut out an entire step, which gives you a little more time. Would be my guess. It's just my theory on how they do it. But then you'd have to cut it perfectly. I just don't imagine it's that hard to cut it perfectly. Not in today's climate. There's so many ways of doing shit like that. We have the technology. There's the resub haul and the bits Aussie. This must be happening in Yu-Gi-Oh! 2. Konami has insisted they're not short printing, but rare cards still have less. Maybe we've been blaming the wrong person. I think it probably is. Here, if you want something really interesting that I've talked about on stream, like if we just historically look at card printings, let's take, for example, Pokemon. When I was opening old Pokemon boxes, you would get 12 of your biggest cards from that box. 12. 12 hollows. I think it was 12, right? I'm pretty sure it's 12. Regardless, you'd get a good portion. And then if you look at it today, if you get a box, you're lucky to get one. Like one decent card. These are resub bread, wave, and slap. TCW, that card shop, made a statement on Twitter or where? Oh, statement from TCW regarding the photo of stolen cards. Of course, it's through Facebook, which is entirely useless. We'll just go to Reddit. Okay, so it looks like they're actively investigating. Seems like they took all of the right steps. Happy birthday, Drip. There's a resub, Poggy, Skyhawk, McDill, and Jake. All rare cards are in the same sheet, so after they cut, they just take a bunch full of rare cards. Yeah, I just pulled up the Yu-Gi-Oh! One for the Starlights. All the Starlights are on the same sheet, so for Pokemon, I imagine it's much of the same. All of the, like, rainbow rares, all of the hyper rares are on the same sheets. I just figured they'd take the sheet and cut it themselves. To me, that made sense, but maybe you're right. Maybe that's harder than just taking the cards after they're cut. Damn. Holy shit. Why would you film this yourself? It is a crime. It is literally a crime. You're filming your own crimes. I will say one good thing that's come out of like this TikTok clout goblin culture is people actually film themselves committing crimes, which pretty often has led to them getting repercussions. Doesn't happen all the time, but it does happen sometimes. All that just to flex. This matter remains under investigation and cannot comment on the details at the time. However, we can confirm Sword and Shield booster packs and products were shipped to retail as intended, and we have no indication that the integrity of the products were impacted by any confirmed or unconfirmed theft. Furthermore, we continue to significantly invest in both the production and security of the TCG business. We value the faith our fans put in us and our products. Okay. Thanks, Resub Gundam. Quibi, and they give sub Sarah and the bits gravy. If they don't recall that pack, fuck them. They're not going to recall anything. I'll tell you right now. There's a 0% chance they're going to recall anything. But they're going to really need a thorough investigation to figure out where these breaches are happening. Thanks, resub dev. Do you think the value of Pokemon cards overall will drop? I don't know. I actually have no idea what kind of effect this is going to have on the market. I'm curious. So the time that this article came out, which was 3 p.m. today? Yeah, I guess 3 p.m. today. They listed the Umbreon at $641 down here. Or $674 down here. Let's see what it is right now. The Umbreon VMAX. It's not even showing on TCG Player. Why not? Oh, here it is. And right now on TCG Player, the price has stayed the same. It's $645. Oh, yeah, no, $645. This was a damaged one for $500. So, as of right now, there's no, like, panic dropping or anything, it looks like. Though it's only been 3 days since the story broke. So I guess we'll just have to see. Pokemon too big for something like this to affect it. That's where you're wrong. See, like, that's what I would have normally thought. But I don't know. This video, as well as the articles, have convinced me, like, this is happening on such a large scale that it really will have some kind of effect on that whole secondary TCG market. It'd have to. It's already altered the pull rates. Poke scam? Hey, for once, this is not the Pokemon Company's fault. This is absolutely just greed from some workers somewhere along the pipeline. Thanks, resub Moss. How much do you think they care about the secondary market? A lot. The reason people buy cards is for those big pulls. So if there's people stealing the cards and just selling all of the chase ones on their own straight from the line, taking it out of everyone else's boxes, people are going to stop buying the packs. No one's going to bother buying packs. Why would you if you know there is a huge chance that you're not going to get anything because it's already been taken? I think the resub stoned. Pretty wacky though. This actually reminds me of what I think it was 6 years ago. There was some problem with the Pokemon pipeline for it must have been right before Sun and Moon, or maybe it was Sun and Moon, where it was actually mapped out. So if you opened a booster box, you could actually pick out each individual pack that would have the hyper rares. That had some kind of flaw with the way they packaged it, so you would count, I think it was every 3 packs left to right would have a hyper rare, something like that. So what you would do, or what people would do, is they get the booster box, they'd open it, they'd take all the ones that they knew would be hyper rares, and they'd just sell the other packs loose, or repackage with other commons, and you'd never have to open them, you'd never have to weigh them or anything.